in London Land.
Woo!
Woo!
That was good. I enjoyed that.
That was solid. I thoroughly enjoy this.
Chronicles of Crime. I love this game so very much.
Yeah.
But this was a first time for all three of you. What did you guys think?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot. It made me feel smart for figuring it out, and I was worried because there were some like sequencing issues of like having to do the scan of cards in the right order to get.
There's a little bit of gaminess to it that causes problems sometimes.
It's not overwhelming,
Yeah.
so and it's pretty intuitive, and I think and it makes you feel like, oh, I'm figuring stuff out.
I dug that.
This was a really cool case too.
It reminds me.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we played that Sherlock Holmes game where we went around investigating. It wasn't very good.
Oh, the old Sherlock,
the old
221B Baker Street.
There's a newer one that's pen and paper.
There's Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, which is very difficult.
Yeah,
extremely difficult.
It reminds me of like that, only a lot easier and approachable.
This was, for the record, this was labeled as a medium difficulty case.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I loved that there was a collective time when we were all equally frustrated with not knowing what we were going to do, but I liked that a little bit because it wasn't a hopelessness. It was we're going to continue moving forward, but there was a difficulty level that had we're invested in this, and we also had our personal characters had stakes in the game. But I also love whenever you have a hunch and it proves correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's that payoff that's really nice, especially with anything that's murder mystery. That's just super, like you put the pieces and you're like, okay, I think this is how it goes, and then it is. You're like,
there are several moments. This case had a lot of moments of, oh, moments of breakthrough that you're like, oh my god, that means that this and that. Oh, we have so many things we can scan now.
Yeah.
And this was so much more, as far as the scope, was more elaborate than I anticipated.
Yeah, when we got into like, there's also Peter Pan.
Yeah,
I was like, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I dug it because it's just like, oh, how deep does this go?
Right? Yeah, I was like, what storybook characters are we going to come across next?
Right. And I think that really like emphasizes how like broad that this like your cases can be, and how much of a framework that this game actually is.
All of these cards are just portraits,
right?
And then a little bit of vague text.
Mm-hmm.
The whole game is built in that app.
Yeah.
And then these are just used as components that you can mix and match to do whatever you want with them with each individual case.
I thought about with the app, with a lot of us not being able to like just get together in person right now. I was like, one person could do the board and everyone could be in a Discord or Zoom call, and then you just have
you could easily play this game.
Someone just scan the things and you still get the
this was one of the DLC mysteries. There are so this is the original Chronicles of Crime game, and then there are expansions and sequels to the game. I can't remember.
So how many cases does it come with?
The original Chronicles of Crime, London's Forensic, comes with the tutorial, Curse of the Pharaohs, Every Rose Has Its Thorns, and a 3-scenario spanning campaign called The Power Behind. Those are all included in the original box. Those are free in the app. You have to have the original box to play them. The extra scenarios that are all playable on this board, there's 7 of those. Plus, in addition to all the expansions and the sequels, they have a community thing where you can build your own.
That's what
mysteries.
I was hoping for, because I was like, that's
you can build your own mysteries with,
handful of
with their own
mysteries,
app thing, and then you can go find. They have like a whole rating system, so you can go find one that's highly rated and download that.
That was what makes the game.
Yeah,
if I would have had to pay $5 per thing.
Yeah, because I was like, that's getting.
I
was like, that's not a lot of replay value. You play this game 5-6 times, and maybe you don't play it more than that anyways. But I'm like, I still feel like it should be more than that. I was like, oh yeah,
but the community stuff.
Anyone can make it.
Yeah. It's not that expensive of a game either, because there's
Yeah.
not a lot of
No,
components here.
it'd be a pretty cheap game.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to play this again. This was so much fun.
Yeah, this is a really cool. This is one of my
So
all-time
fun.
favorites, and that was a really good case.
That was a good
too.
Yeah.
case.
That was a really
And I
good
love
case.
that it was. I'm a sucker for co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really like cooperative gameplay, and so this was just.
yeah.
This is great.
And this
Oh.
game's like $30-$35 for the
That's
for
not
the
bad.
base
Not
game. No, not
That's
bad
not
at
bad.
all.
Chop that.
And I think the Chronicles of Time series for all three of them is not much more than
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds so much fun. I love
Yeah.
Wibbly Wobbly
They
stuff.
even have. I just found out about this. They have one that, if you have all pieces of that series, plus a separate like expansion box for it, there are 3 more scenarios that span the whole pantheon of Chronicles of
Ooh.
Time.
Wow.
So you like travel through time
Oh,
solving
God.
mysteries or
That-
something.
Let's go back in time and ask
Yeah.
them about.
Yeah.
Oh no, we changed the future.
Yeah,
I think
super cool.
Something like
Go
a,
back and ask Alice about her death.
I think something like a. Just as we were talking about it before we went live, some sort of like 80s synth wave, Stranger
Yeah.
Things, something would
Yeah.
be super cool.
What's funny to me is that this is a game that a lot of board game purists would never touch
Oh yeah.
Really?
because it's so heavily dependent on the app.
Yeah, it's an experiential game, which is the new hotness in board games, and I think they do it. I think this is along with like the XCOM game or One Night Ultimate Werewolf. It uses the app correctly,
Right?
you know?
Yeah, it shows you that having an app, a companion app for a board game, can open new doors.
'Cause the only
it
way-
doesn't have to be.
Because this is not a new
Something-
style of game. It's just that instead of scanning this in the app, there would be a booklet where we have to read something.
Right.
Right.
Well, I was thinking the same thing where I used to very much be like a book purist where I'm like, do not want anything on Kindle or tablet
Right.
like that. No. And then I moved at one point and I was like, these books were all heavy.
Yeah.
Right.
And so now I'm just thinking of like the amount of paper you're saving.
Yeah.
So just like it's more environmentally friendly to have
Mm-hmm.
more stuff there.
And it's infinitely expandable.
yeah.
They can keep on
That's the thing they
cranking
just
out
need.
new
Yeah, yeah.
campaigns with these same components.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, the only
Just
thing
because,
is just,
like-
making sure your phone has full juice.
Just because this guy was the subject
Yeah.
this time doesn't mean he can't be the suspect in something
Yeah.
else.
Because
then
none of
just-
these-
He was our freaking tutorial.
He was our
He was
Yeah.
our tutorial.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Like, there's so many of these characters.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
And the idea that like
And when you're coming up with a campaign, you just have a character in mind. You go
Yeah.
scrubbing through the
Yeah.
deck. You're like,
So
yeah,
many.
that looks like the guy I'm
when
looking for.
the Tweedledee and Tweedledum, I was like, yeah, okay,
For sure, that's what like
yeah.
I was getting some of these and I was like, oh
The
wow,
crocodile.
like the Alice, the
Yeah,
crocodile,
Yeah.
like
The other Alice is different, and it's like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I loved that campaign. I love this game a lot.
really like
I
this,
highly
yeah.
highly recommend it.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a lot of style to it. Like if like the whole, just like the Alice in Wonderland. I'm curious about the other ones because it felt appropriate. All the Alice in Wonderland things. The fact that we were slowly dying. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved the event stuff because
Yeah.
that kept the pressure on as we're going through.
Yeah.
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 This was super fun.
Yeah. And because of the way that the solution works at the end, if you don't figure everything out, like you go through all those questions and you're like, I don't know,
Yeah.
or whatever, then you get to the end and it gives you that final scoring. You have the option to hit the solution and read the whole explanation, or
Oh, that's nice.
you could just do the whole case over again and see if you can
That's
figure
good.
out where you went wrong.
Yeah, I was
Caitlin
wondering
and I
if-
have done that on one,
Nice.
where we got to the end and we were like, oh wow, there are like 3 questions in here that we have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we've played this case. Let's do it again. Chronicles of Crime.
Great game.
it's a good one.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like that, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and most importantly, go on over to twitch.tv/BnBTabletop and give us a follow there. We play board games live every Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time on a show we call The Board and Barrel.
and it's a very interactive broadcast. We have house rules that you guys can influence throughout the course of the game, virtual bingo, you can bet on who's gonna win. It's a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing you there.